AJ Styles' son, Avery Styles, just debuted in promotional wrestling in a Georgia promotion, and we had a few surprises hit here. So strap in, guys, because what you just watched is not honestly a highlight reel of 2025 TNA. That is the 19-year-old kid in his first ever professional wrestling match. And he just hit his father's signature spot like he's been doing it since birth. Which, as far as we know, he probably did, mimicking his father watching on TV for all we know. But regardless, we have a new chapter in the Styles family legacy, and it started on Friday, June 26, 2026, in a building that holds, from the looks of this video, maybe 500 people. And it was in Royston, Georgia, and the wrestling world was paying attention. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the Tea Drop, where the brew is strong and there's lots to talk about. Today we're breaking down the professional wrestling debut of Avery Jones, but we will know him going forward with his ring name, Avery Styles. He is the 19-year-old son of WWE Hall of Famer AJ Styles. We're going to react to the clips of the match that we were able to find online, break down what happened in the building, talk about AJ's role post-retirement, and then get into what this means going forward. Because here's where it's going to get interesting for his career. This might not be a one-night story for all we know. He might go bigger than that. So let's move to his debut. All right, June 26th of 2026, Square Circle Action Wrestling, or known as the SCA, holds their Freedom Fling event at the Royston Dome in Royston, Georgia. And on the night, they drew about the fire marshal limit of 500 people, which means by fire code and for the fire department of their local jurisdiction, they only allow for a public event like this to hold 500 people for the sake of their safety. So fire limit of 500, which means they could have gone more. They drew the largest crowd apparently in the 20-year history of the Royston Dome itself. 500 people. Fire marshal cut off. It was a packed house, and the reason is simple. Avery Jones, AJ Styles' second son, making his pro debut against a kid named Ashton Martin, who's only been wrestling for about a year himself. Now, here's where I need you to pay attention when it comes to how this goes down. Avery comes out with he comes out to Demigods. Now, if you guys don't know what Demigods is and why that's important, that is the same music AJ used in his Ring of Honor intros. It was the same music right here, same music, Demigods apparently. Oh look, there you go. There's Avery Styles, and the crowd is loving him. That was the same music AJ used, like I said, in Ring of Honor, the same music that defined an era in his career. And he doesn't just walk to the ring, he does a little bit more. He pumps up the crowd, he gets the crowd excited, but there's one move he does during his match that gets people into the match even further. He does his father's famous baseball slide under the guardrail, the exact spot AJ made famous in TNA. Let me ask you something. Where in the world does this 19-year-old son in his first match nail that spot with that kind of confidence and precision? It's all right here. He did not only the under the turnbuckle, the gate baseball slide, he also did the phenomenal forearm. Pretty flawless in my opinion for a guy that just started. Pretty flawless. Wrestling Purist posted this clip as well. I actually got it from the Wrestling Classic, shout out to him. And this all made the Georgia Wrestling History Report from Larry Goodman said that this match went on for about 15 minutes with the crowd on fire the entire time. This crowd was hear the crowd right now. They are all over for him. 15 minutes for a debut, gotta say, that's pretty good. You would expect a squash from this type of thing, but that's not gonna happen. He did not get a 3-minute showcase. They gave these two guys time to tell a story through their wrestling. Two things can happen at the same time. Avery looked amazing for a first match, and we need to pump the brakes before we start calling him the next phenomenal one. But more on that in a minute. Let's talk about this match, because based on what I read and from the clips, is more than what he did. There's also a climax at the end of the match that actually got the crowd excited too. So let's go through that. Here's where the match reached its climax. Aston Martin has a manager named Matt Hankins, and Hankins brought a henchman. So at the finish, they started ganging up on Avery on, classic heel type of tactics that you would expect from them. Now, the crowd watching this kid gets to see get himself double team in his debut. And then we get a pop because AJ Styles, who's been in his son's corner, bursts into the frame to clean house on the heels. Now, the Georgia Wrestling Report called it, and I'm quoting directly, the pop when AJ burst into view to clean house on the heels was Goosebump City. Pretty much hyped all over it. That's the live report that showed up on that. Now, when it comes to passing of the torch, this moment right here, AJ was about to set up this style clash to do himself, his signature finisher on Aston Martin for all the crap he was doing, but he doesn't hit it. He steps aside and he lets his son do the work. Look at the crowd. His father pumping him up. Here we go. Nice. And then go for the one. There you go. Delivering the finishing blow, Avery hits the style clash beautifully and picks up the victory in his first ever match. Here's my thing about this. That wasn't, any finish that you would expect. That became a statement because AJ Styles, a WWE Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever do it, set up his finisher and then physically stepped aside so his son could complete it. If that's not a symbolic passing of the torch right here, I don't know what is. And reportedly, Avery also hit a spiral tap during the match. That's AJ's other signature move, the springboard corkscrew splash. The kid is literally running his father's playbook the way you see it. Let's talk about a few things. I do actually want to show you something that I wanted to show. You see here, how Avery Styles did the baseball slide, the barricade. Now, and then he does the phenomenal form, which is great. The thing is, I think if you only been watching AJ Styles in WWE, you wouldn't know okay, great, he did that. What's the big deal? Well, his son was doing a call out to a previous moment in his father's career. This was AJ Styles doing the barricade slide under evasion at TNA, like I was saying before. And here's a clip of it. And whoosh, look at that. Let's talk about AJ Styles. We move on to this part because AJ Styles being at ringside for his son debut isn't typical proud dad moment. It's part of probably a bigger picture in AJ's mind. AJ Styles retired from active competition at the 2026 Royal Rumble right here. He faced Gunther. He got defeated by Gunther, pretty much took him out. It was over. Same event where he premiered. He premiered at the Royal Rumble in 2016, which freaking confused Roman Reigns the first time he showed up, but he ended his career where he started, at the Royal Rumble. This is his debut 10 years earlier, 2016. Full circle moment for him. But now AJ revealed in his podcast, the Phenomenal Retro podcast, that his new WWE role wasn't as a producer or writer. He described it that he's going to be a talent scout working with the WWE ID program, and then Yahoo Sports reported on that as well. But then, and here's where it gets more layers told, AJ revealed that his role is going to expand to now producing matches for Evolve. So let's make sure we get all this straight, because I'm sure people will forget in the months to come. He retired at Royal Rumble 2026, right? He signed with WWE as a talent scout working with the WWE ID, but then he expanded into producing matches for WWE Evolve, which, if you guys don't know, WWE Evolve, I guess, is the next developmental layer or tier lower than NXT, and you will see even younger crowd there. It's televised, I think, through Tubi, or regardless of that, he is now showing up at indie shows because of it, in Georgia, to be in his son's corner. But let's be real for a minute. How long before AJ scouting his own son, if you think about it? Because that's the question probably nobody's asking out loud at this point. But I'm sure everybody's thinking about it. And here's another detail that makes this even more interesting. AJ has previously expressed interest in a temporary return in the ring, specifically to tag alongside his son. But that came out before this debut. Now that the debut from Avery Styles is a success, that prospect, a father-son tag team on a larger stage, can be something that may happen. You never say never in professional wrestling, as they always say, depending on how he continues to gain momentum in the wrestling world. Now, where does WWE not see dollar signs in that? A legacy story, a Hall of Famer coming back for one run to put over his own kid? That writes itself. I mean, they've done it before with Rey Mysterio and Dominic. I mean, Rey wasn't retired per se, but he's currently wrestling still, and he's a Hall of Famer. You never know. AJ Styles can come back too. I doubt he's not going to be ring rust, because he's going to be always there with his son helping him out. Now, what does this mean going forward? So let's talk about that. What does Avery Styles' debut, right? What does his debut actually mean for the wrestling world right now? And let's talk about it. Let's start with number one. Number one, the legacy pipeline is as real as it gets. We've seen it with the Noah family, the Hart family, the Von Erichs, the Rhodes family. Second generation wrestlers come in with a built-in audience and a foundation of training that most rookies won't, unfortunately, have. Now, Avery has been around wrestling his entire life, since he was born, probably. He's been watching AJ Styles, his father, work from backstage. That's an education that many can buy. So he already has one leg in the game. Now, number two, WWE has a scouting advantage. AJ is literally going to indie shows in Georgia, watching talent, and now producing for Evolve as we speak. AJ spoke about his son's debut in a few articles, including Fightful, calling it a big day, that the man is embedded in the indie scene as part of his WWE job. That means WWE has eyes and ears in places they didn't before, more than ever now. Now, instead of working with one man, WWE probably has a few people, including AJ, scouting throughout the country, checking out all these promotions, talking to these wrestlers, maybe taking them to a tryout at the Performance Center and seeing what they're worth. If they're good enough, they'll sign them up. Now, depending how good they are, they may go to Evolve first, maybe they'll go to NXT instead, or if they're lucky, the main roster. But I would just stick to the main roster, because jumping people that quick may not benefit them. Anyway, number three, and this is the big one for me, the father and son tag team story. Now, if Avery continues to develop and remember everything he remembers at age 19, this was his first match. The kid went 15 minutes and looked composed by many people. You saw the crowd cheering for him. There is a legitimate roadmap to AJ Styles coming back for a tag run if his son ever shows up to the WWE. Maybe not in WWE immediately though. Maybe they allow AJ Styles also to team up with his son in the indie circuit. Maybe it's a one-off at a major show on these indie scenes. But the foundation is being laid right now as we speak, in this small building in Georgia in front of this Fire Marshal Limited 500 people. The IWC is going to do what the IWC does best. They're going to overhype this kid immediately. They're going to start calling for him in NXT before he has his fifth match. And I need everyone to hear me on this. For now, let him cook. Let him do his thing in the indie circuit. Let him have his 15 minutes in his debut. As impressive as it is, hitting the phenomenal forearm and the Styles clash in the first matches is impressive. Drawing 500 people to a building that's never seen that kind of crowd is impressive too. But it's just the beginning. Let's give him time. And also, Ashton Marson also only had a year and a half of experience as well. This was two green thumb kids having a good match in front of a hot crowd that was there for the novelty. The real test is going to be maybe match 10, match 20, match 50. When the novelty wears off and this is just about whether Avery Styles can wrestle, we'll see. But we need to give him time and not push him, because we've seen when young athletes get pushed so hard at the beginning and it becomes too much for them. They need to get used to this world. And let me close you with this. After the show, people were still lined up for a photo and autograph opportunity with Avery and AJ. 30 minutes, they said after the show ended. 30 minutes. And it's not even a WWE crowd. It's a typical old school, old fashioned wrestling crowd. And that tells me something. The appetite for this story is already there. Now, do I think we'll see Avery Styles in the WWE within 2 years or so? Not really. I think he needs a few more years in the indie reps and in the indies, whether it's in this one or other promotions, just before that conversation even starts. But do I think AJ Styles laces up to his boots one more time to tag with his son somewhere? It's possible. Like I said, never say never with wrestling. I think it might be happening, but it'll probably be a one-off. The only question is where and when at this point. But put that aside, Avery Styles did an amazing job doing with his first match at 19, and he has a lot of promise. I just hope he just get used to the world before he thinks trying to jump big places, whether it's WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan. Just get used to the ropes. So now I have a question besides the where and when. Let me know, drop your thoughts below. How long before you think we see Avery on a bigger stage, and would you want to see AJ come back for a tag run with his son, or should he stay retired and just be his coach from the sidelines? Let me know below, and as always, if the T hit right, hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.